If the audio quality is not as good as it typically is, it's because I am nowhere near my microphone, so I'm gonna have to doctor this up a lot for it to sound decent. I side-eye people who still post their kids. Mind you, I am not a parent. I don't have kids, never for a long period of time taking care of a kid, so maybe I should mind my business and shut the fuck up. But just as an outsider looking in, I really don't get why people still post their kids. And I probably have talked about this a couple months ago, and just how we should prioritize protecting kids over really anything at this point, especially online. I feel like if you really want to post your kid, if you absolutely must post your child, you need to blur their face out. It's sad, but the reality is that there are some disgusting people out there. And with AI improving, your child becomes data when they shouldn't be. Don't get me wrong, we are all data at this point. AI is using all of us to improve. That's why I understand why people may not want their information out there, may not want their faces out there, is because it will take absolutely anything that is on the internet and use it for whatever purpose. And some people use AI for some pretty shitty purposes. But also, like, another side of that, I know that's one that people talk about a lot, is like starting your child's digital footprint without them being able to consent to it. Children cannot consent to digital footprint. They cannot. It's like how children can't consent to all kinds of other things because they don't understand the consequences, the capacity. Like they're not old enough to understand those things. Their brains aren't developed. And I argue that the people who post their kids, especially for content, even if it's not for for like the extreme, let's say 8 passengers, your child's just in your videos because like they are in your videos and what, I still think it's not a good idea. Having your child in your content consistently puts them out there in a way that like they shouldn't be. Putting your child's personal life out there is not something that we should want to do, because some people live vicariously through family channels and people's content, which I think is weird, because then they feel like they have this entitlement to see and know what's going on with your child, which makes absolutely no sense. And that's where parasocial relationships get really weird as well. But you shouldn't want to post like all of your kids' business. They're going through things, stuff like, oh, their puberty, like, because we all go through puberty, and talking about those private details, maybe stuff that's happening in their school life, showcasing everything that they're doing. You don't need to do that, because then you have all these eyes on your kid. And I think it's especially more sad because there are some people who are pretty famous and they have kids and they start posting their kids, and then that kid is known for being that content creator, celebrity, influencer's child. Is that always avoidable? I would say no, because celebrities, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how many celebrities are able to hide their children. I'm sure there's a possible way if they try hard enough, but a lot of celebrities don't do that. And then the children are subject to all of these opinions that should not be put on a child, especially a child that's not yours. But of course, I also ridicule the adults who are giving their opinions unwarranted or saying heinous things about these kids online that they're watching. Putting all their business out there for what? For content? For publicity? For clout? The thing that bothers me a lot is how do parents not think, okay, my video got a lot of views because I put my child in it for whatever reason. And then they keep intentionally putting their child in videos because they know it gets them views. How do you not see anything wrong with that as a parent? How do you not realize what you're doing? It's like the same way a lot of kids have been exploited online for fame and to make money off of that. And we've seen a million examples of this, where parents think more about the money and not about their children and their well-being, and they don't step in when they should. The bare minimum, honestly. Recently, PewDiePie announced that he was going to stop the family vlogs where he has Bjorn, that's his son, in the videos. And a lot of people were praising him for PewDiePie W for prioritizing his kid, prioritizing privacy and stuff. That's wonderful. I'm going to argue something. I'm going to argue that that's what he should have done in the first place. That's what him and Marzia should have done in the first place. I don't know how old Bjorn is. I think it's been 2 years that since he's been born, and he has been, I don't watch PewDiePie like I used to, so correct me if I'm wrong, but like, I mean, I know he's been in the vlogs and the videos and posted online. Why now do we want to prioritize privacy? You're the biggest YouTuber, like one of the biggest YouTubers out there, right? Everyone's watching you. I even saw a comment about like this whole thing about PewDiePie, like kind of stopping the family vlogs or taking Bjorn out of the vlogs. And it was a weird ass comment. Pewds always said that they wouldn't be a family channel, quote unquote, showing Bjorn. We are lucky they shared 2 years of his life with us. And someone responded, your comment ironically makes his decision to withdraw even more rational. Imagine having 457 people considering themselves lucky because they got to see me achieve things they should in their own lives, but instead were watching me. I don't think I opened the rest of this comment, so I don't have all of the context here, but like they responded, well, you know how I meant it, as in we could have 0 videos about their life at all. But yes, Pewds has always said exposing kids on YouTube isn't cool, and Bjorn starring not EA, and then I didn't open the rest of the comment there. This is what I'm talking about. It's like, okay, why is it not weird to say, oh, we're lucky that they shared 2 years of this toddler's life with us that we've never met in our lives and that we've only seen through the internet? What? To me, that sounds weird. That made me turn my head. Maybe they didn't mean it in a weird way. I'm not trying to like push that on them, but it's like, why? That's what I'm talking about with like living vicariously, or people who are parasocial. It's like, oh, we got to see 2 years of his life. And it's like, no, from the beginning, from the jump, not be posting the kids, not be posting the babies. I think the only time where children should be put in the content is if they want to, and if they're much older than like 2 years old, and you have like an in-depth discussion with them about what it means to be on the internet. The only reasonable way that you could put your children in your content, when they understand it, they want to do it, and they can consent to it. They can like fully consent to it. I also saw a video a couple weeks ago from someone who is disabled talking about how people exploit their disabled kids. I don't come across a lot of videos where there are disabled kids in the videos. Or people who go like who have conditions. And I know what she said was like, oh, like the excuse is, oh, I'm spreading awareness to other people and stuff. But it's like, still, you are showing very intimate details about your children and the condition that they're going through, and the most intimate parts of their medical information, their disability, like the things that really, like, yeah, it's real stuff and it's maybe spreading awareness. Do we really have to show it to the internet? I think there's ways to spread awareness about disabilities and what people who are disabled go through without constantly posting your kids and having your kid as like the center of your content. I have seen many ways where people educate people online about disabilities without like involving their kids or using their kids' personal details and information, because your kid may not understand or be able to consent to the fact that all of this stuff is out there forever now. Even if you are a bunch of nobodies and you don't get like millions of views, I don't get how people can still post their kids. But some people I know don't always have ill will and ill intentions of posting their kids. Some people do. Some people exploit their kids for money. They exploit things that should be kept private to the internet. And then the internet lives vicariously through family channels and these kids and their parents. And more importantly, like most importantly, the harm of the child. There are so many examples of how exploiting kids affects the kids. I mean, no shit, it's exploiting the kids. Even in my head, like people I think about are like Danielle Cohn, Lil Tay. Lil Tay got famous. Well, how old was she? Like 12 or 8 years old. Pretty much her family was making her flex and be in videos with rappers and be around all this expensive stuff and having chains. And I'm the richest kid in the world. Your mama broke and I'm richer than her. Shit like that. They were coaching her to do all of this. And there's a video out there where they're literally telling her what to say and they're stopping her because she's not saying it right. And she clearly looks stressed out. That's one example. Danielle Cohn is another example. And that's one that I followed myself for a while because I was basically around her age. Like, we're like 2 years apart. So in high school and shit, like, I knew like everything that was going on about that, because it's like, all that was crazy. She was famous on Musical.ly, and then she got like more famous on like TikTok and Instagram, and she was getting paid thousands by companies to do bikini photos. She was a minor, by the way. Bikini photos. Her mom wanted her to have a Kim Kardashian start. Her mom told her to lie about her age. Her mom made her date all of these different kinds of boys. Her mom made her get all of these tattoos and all. Like, it's sad. And she even did like some borderline OnlyFans shit, or I forgot what the name of the platform was, but it was pretty much like paying for exclusive content. And when I looked up Danielle's Instagram recently, I am honestly kind of horrified, because all of these like surgeries and stuff that her mom had her get and all these tattoos and stuff literally makes her look like a different person. I believe people should be able to get whatever surgeries they want and shit like that, but the difference is Danielle was a kid when her mom was telling her to do all of this stuff because she wanted to appeal to Instagram and the people viewing her online. I can only imagine. And the thing is, Danielle would get a lot of hate for this, even though she's not the one doing all of this. Her mom is orchestrating all of this, and all of the adults around her are failing her, not stopping the exploitation of her. And think about it. A lot of that stuff that is now on the internet, there is no telling what that could do for her future. There is no telling. Because some people may not care that she was a victim in all this. No, people may not care about that. All they see is drama and just bad stuff, and that will create an opinion of her. And in my head, I know I don't know Danielle Cohn personally, but it's like seeing all the stuff that happened drama-wise with her as I was growing up, like we were in the same age group, is like, I cannot imagine what things she goes through mentally. But I would not want that for any child. The one thing that is very heartbreaking is to grow up and you have to unpack all kinds of trauma. It's not fun to do. And I wouldn't wish that on any child whatsoever, because it's stressful. It takes a long time to heal, and healing is not easy. So I know this is a longer video than a lot of my recent ones, but I just want to talk about that because I'm just like, how are y'all still posting your kids? How are y'all still posting your kids for content? How are y'all still using your kids as cash cows? How are y'all not protecting your kids from the jump? How are we not doing that? How are we not thinking about how it's going to affect them down the line? We have to be thinking about these things, especially as parents, and especially as people who are in proximity to this kind of exploitation. Like, step in, say something. And I know parents get defensive when they're told how to parent, but sometimes they don't know what they're doing. And sometimes they do need to hear someone say it to them, like, hey, I think that you should probably do this because it's probably not going to be good for your child if you do this, that, and the third. That's it for this video. Like I said, if the audio is not the same quality, I'm literally recording from my phone. I am nowhere near my microphone, my expensive ass microphone. Yeah, let me know what you think about anything that I said, if you agree, if you disagree, if you relate, if you don't relate. Let me know in the comments and I'll read them. And until my next video, whatever I talk about.